Hello everyone, this is Shreya for the session of digitalization. Today we are going to discuss about the importance of digitalization, what is the impact of digitalization on the business module with the scenarios, examples and the importance as well. But with an interesting case study dealing with the digitalization plus the QR code and how it helps Bob and David who are doing business in a tours and travels business. But in this scenario, Bob is earning less and David is earning more. What is the reason behind why the Bob is earning less and David is earning more? The reason behind it that Bob is using a traditional way to do the things, getting all the accommodation, all the paperwork to be done in a physical manner, whereas David is using a digitalization way where he is keeping all his documents, approval, accommodation, papers, everything in an online platform. And on the other hand, he is completing the services of the customer instantly. So that means the customers are really happy with its service. So he is getting more and more business, more and more profit from the customers. But whereas Bob is struggling to get his business to run smoothly. So he is not able to do so because it is taking a lot of time. So nowadays, when you see everyone, even I'm in that particular field, so I also require my service instantly. I don't want to wait for my service to be done delayed. So I want an instant resolution for my queries, for my complaints, or for my services itself. So in today's era, digitalization is a main key tool, or we can say is a main tool for the business module to run on an online platform. Now we look about in the next slide what is method. So in traditional method, if we look, it takes a lot of time. There is a more manpower is used. There's a frequency of risk is very higher. There's a high costing. Plus, it's a slow processing work is done. Whereas in digital method, we see is a less time consumption, less manpower is used, faster processing. The risk of error is very low, and it is a very low costing. So why people will only prefer digitalized? Because these are the points which people think it's a convenient to run a business in an online platform. But in a traditional way, the people has to think whether we should run it or not, because it's a really tough decision for the people to run the business in a traditional way of method. Next slide comprises of digitalization. So in a simple words, if I want to describe digitalization, this digitalization first is the technology, second is the process, third is the data, and the last is the organizational change. So when I'm talking about the technology is the part where it makes the new and existing process to be a smooth. It tries to modify the things that makes the technology works as well as for the business. Second would be the data collection. So when we talk about the data collection, so when we are doing all the analysis, we are doing the compiling of the data for your brands, for your products, for your company, we can easily do it in an online platform. We don't have to do it in a traditional way of method, because in a traditional way we can't get the exact figures, but while doing the data compilation on the online platform, it becomes really easy and we get a clear picture where our brand or the company is standing. Third comes an automation process, where the process comes to smoothen the complex business activities in a smoother way. Because if the process is there, you can it can make it easier for the consumers as well as the business owners, and this process makes us transparent, makes us efficient for the consumers, because they want a friendly interface here and there, find out the things. It should be really easy for the consumers to go through it. And last would be the organizational change. When a consumer comes to your website or an app, so they have their different demands, different requests. So when you get all these requests, you need to get those things organized in your way so that it has increased the demands of the consumer. So you have to make an organizational change in your business so that the consumers can get their demands completed, because this is how, if the consumers are not there, you can't do anything, you can't flourish your business like anything. But if the consumers are there, and if you're meeting their demands, their requests, their services, whatever they required, and you are making it in an online platform more easier for the consumer, so it becomes really easy for your business. And for that, you have to make some changes in your organization so that you can meet up those things to provide the consumer those demands, those services which they require from your company, from your brand, from your product. And this is are the 4 points which makes or which define digitalization in today's world. Next comes the importance of digitalization. So if I talk about the importance of digitalization, there are three key points when we talk about. So first point is the risk of errors. Everybody knows when we do something, a normal thing, if we do in a drafting or something, a contract or a proposal or something to for a client, and if we are doing in a traditional way, there must be multiple of errors, whether we can speak about the spelling errors or the sentences are not correct. But if we do it in an online platform, the risk of errors is reduced, because they are always trying to hint that this line is not correct or the spelling is not correct. This is how the risk of errors is reduced in a digitalization method. So when we talk about the importance, this is the most I think key point for the consumers as well, because consumer need that these errors should not happen when they are purchasing or they are looking out for some product in your website or an app. So the risk of errors should be minimized, and it has been minimized. It has not been minimized. Second point comes around that the retention of customers. So how do you retain those customers? You all have a questions. Even I also sometimes think that how the business people can retain those customers by providing them the proactive services to them, proactive resolutions to them, so that they will be happy, they will be really glad. Okay, this person has listened to me, he has understand my query, he can do something for me, means he is just listening to your query. So that's what makes the consumers happy. It's a simple way when you say something and somebody is very focusedly listening to your talks. That means, okay, the person is interested in your talks. He's listening to your queries. He is listening to your complaints. But if you're not listening, the customer would not be happy. He will not be so glad. Okay, the service, the people in this particular company or brand is not very efficient, is not very proactive. What I'm talking, they are not really interested. This is one picture they always give if we are not attentive to our customers. So the retention of the customers is the key point, that you listen what the consumers are talking about, what is their query, and what is their complaint, what they want actually from their product or the brand or a product. So this is how you can retain the customers. Even the consumers can recommend your app or a website to other people, so that you can increase your consumers in your app and website. That makes a huge lot, because that makes a very good thing when other people are also coming to a website who did not know. After recommending, they can understand, okay, this is also a website, there are also the products, and they have got a very cheap deals or a very good deals in that. So why don't we visit to that website? If the service to the consumers, to the targeted consumers, are really very good, if you retain them, they will make your business flourish day by day. Third would be the data secured. So when we talk about the secured data, so what would you understand by secured securing the documents. Whenever I would say that, okay, I'm working on a system, and sometimes, so it can be crash, it can be anything, it can be just switch off your laptop. So it can be fixed, right? If we talk about in a digitalization era, this fixing error, this error can be fixed and your data can be retrieved. But when you go through a traditional way and you have a bunch of papers, and if any one paper is lost, can you retrieve that? No, because you have to make the entire lot again. But in a digitalization method, you can retrieve this on an online platform and it becomes very easy for you to get through it, because it makes a lot of easy work, because nobody nowadays want to keep those papers. Everybody wants, okay, I'll keep all the documents in a laptop in a folder, and whenever I want I can access it. So the one thing, if the data is lost or it has been stolen, or it can be anything, but it can be retrieved in your laptop, in your system, everywhere. So this is a one plus point when I'm talking about the importance of digitalization. So these 3 points, if we are putting into an online business platform, it makes a whole lot of difference on an online platform, because if you're getting these things, it makes the easy for the consumer as well as the business person, and the consumer who wants to intend to purchase anything, that becomes easier if your representatives are very proactive in their services. So this is why digitalization is really important, because you can give up the deals, you can give up the coupons, you can give up the cashback and an online platform with your product, with your brand. So the people will come and it will grab more and more attention. Or something. So what we can do, if we are renting a property, or we are taking our property, we can keep those documents in online, we can fill it online. We don't have to wait in a queue and ask for things to be done in that manner. But when we are doing in a digitalization way, the processing days becomes less, because it takes like 2 to 3 days. But in a traditional way, whether you are opening an account, you are taking a credit card, you are taking a gold coin, anything, it is processing time would be 15 to 16 days. But if you're talking about in a digitalization way, it is like 2 to 3 days, and it becomes really easy for the consumers. Okay, I don't have to means wait for those days. I can just simply go it online and clear off my form, give a digital signature, and it will be processed. And the main thing, that the service has been provided at your doorstep. That's what you like. But you are not certain, if you're doing in a traditional way, whether the product will come to your place or not. That is another different story for you. So we like, because for me also, I want the services at the home. I want the things to be delivered at my place. I don't want to look around here and there. I don't want to waste my time. Everybody has that question. Ki, why to waste my time? I can do it on my laptop in a single window. I can look about the product. I can see. I can purchase. So I'm not wasting the time in a traditional way, going here and there, because there are travel costs, because you're traveling from one place to another. So every business want that accuracy, whether in data, whether in products, anything, everything should be in an accurate way, because that's where the business works. It's a cost saving, because everything, it is on a laptop, on a single website or a triple website, which is in your laptop, and you can just compare and deal with it. Time saving, you are not going here and there for that particular product. You can search it online, and that saves, that connects to the time saving plus the cost saving, and that makes an accuracy when you're looking out something, intended to purchase something, and that becomes accurate. Then the easy distribution, how do you do this? Word comes an easy distribution. If you want to promote for your product or for your brand, so you can do, nowadays there are so many social media pages, you can just drop the message over there, and the people will see those messages, will see those pop-ups, because that is the easiest way where you can just give the information about your product or your company through these medias. Earlier there were pamphlet, there were flyers, nobody wants to read that, that used to go into dustbin. But if you see it online, the, it will grab thousands of customers of yours, the attention of for your brand, for your product, for your company, everything. So that is very easy distribution. Secured, which I have explained, that whenever your document is stolen or it's crashed or it is somewhere lost, you can retrieve it. And lastly, which is, if you retain your customers nicely, if you give a proactive service, you will have an increase in your profit, your business will flourish day by day. That's what the consumers are really important for the online business. Even if you talk about the traditional business, it's important, but in a traditional way these things you can't give, but in a digitalization you can give many services to the consumers, which they will be happy. And if you assist them, they will be more happy, because someone is assisting them, someone is listening what their needs, what their demands from their particular product or a company or a brand. So that's the reason when we are talking about, these are the key points for the advantages of digitalization. And this is actually the main tool when you are trying to run a business on an online platform. If these tools are not there, you can't run a business on an online platform. And in a traditional way, these points are not available. In a simple words, they are not available. These points are really not available there. So we have studied what is digitalization, what is the importance, uh, what is the examples with a scenario, and which gives uh, understanding what is particular digitalization is. So now we'll talk about with the case study. When we talk about the case study, we are dealing with a QR code. So today's the QR code is used in a product packaging. We all know QR code nowadays everybody use, and it becomes easier for a payment, for uh, buying anything, any product. And you can don't have you can take the services through QR code. You don't have to stand in a queue to get your service. So this is how it has an impact of QR code in the business model. So today what I am trying to discuss today, pro- product packaging, which I'm today I'm discussing about a case study of a QR code through product packaging. So when we talk about QR codes, so basically the QR codes are used or promotes the interaction and engagement through the mobile phone, which you all agree whenever you buy any product, anything. It can be a chair, it can be electronic things, it can be food, it can be anything. So it gets a regular is connected with the brand and with the QR code. So this is a type of a marketing strategy where you can continuously engage with the client and try to solve their queries one by one. So this is basically QR code helps when there is a product packaging, whether it is a food, whether it is an electronic. So this is the main thing. You just scan it over there and you get all the details about the particular product or a label, whatever you are buying it. And then the main thing, when you purchase it, you get when you scan that particular product, whether it is a food, whether it is any electronic item, or it's a wooden furniture, anything, when you scan it, you always see, you get the knowledge or you get the information about that particular product, that what it is made through, how many what is the size of that particular product is. So these all things are there. With, sometimes it has a video and sometimes it also have the story behind this product, or to promote this product. So there are certain things when we scan this QR code in a product information when we scan it. So this QR code, when it is attached, so it has an interactive experience when when me or anybody, any consumers buy a product. So when it is bought by the consumer, so it opens and then it gets an interactive experience between a brand and the consumer. And how it gets interactive, the way after buying that product, delivered to you properly. These type of questions will come after buying that particular product, any product. So the product packaging, when we scan through QR code, it gives about the information, it allows the interactive experience of the consumer, and it continues with that experience with the customer, because they always ask about the feedback for that particular product. So that is more and more connected with the consumer when we are buying it online. Whenever you always buy, I know many people, even I also buy many products in online, and when I buy it, so I get an survey about how is the product, whether it is delivered to you correctly or not, whether it is uh, intact, whatever the product you ordered. So these type of question is a survey that the company can understand, okay, this customer is happy with this particular product, and whatever the changes, whatever the demands they require, they can put it in that survey form. So that becomes very easier for the business people to improvise more and more to make it easier for the consumer. That is why I call it that product, the QR code is very important when you are using it in a product packaging. It has a different views because it carries all other information with the video, with the story, and plus it has the customer engagement experience with that. So when I'm talking about this, so it makes a little bit easier for a consumer as well as for the business to understand what is exactly the customer needed, or if they have any problem with the product, he or she can put it in that particular feedback form. So you understand, you can easily understand what is the problem, what is the issue, and you can retain those customers to come back and again to buy the product. And so this is how the QR code helps in a product packaging to get the customer feedback for the business people. So I am representing the company of Uxlivinglab, and we deal with the QR codes, and it's a really very easy registration where you have to just put your name and email ID and the QR code is created. But what we do, it's a market research consultant, and we do the same thing. We try to get the insight of the customers, we try to get the voice of the customers, so that we can just try to give more and more insight that how your brand or the company is standing through this situation or this market such scenario. So we are more and more to get you the insight of the customers. And I would suggest this is simple QR code and you get your services to done. We can give you the insights, we'll give you the reports regarding your product brand, and if you want any and type of ideas to improvise your product, we can also try to help you in that. But the main part what we do is to get you the customer insight, which is the most important for your brand, for your company, for your product. So I would be sharing a calendar link for you if you want to understand what is how we work, what are our products, and how we have the pricing listed in it. We can also help you in that. And if you want to know about more and more about the company, I can also give you that part also, so that you don't have to wait for your service to be done. It would be done instantly, and I would try to help you out in any of the question which you want me to do, help you with the answers. And I will also provide you each this QR code where you can just see this is a website where you understand how we work. We can provide you what are the features we are dealing with and what is our pricing for each and every product. So this is what we do. We generate the logo and we try to give you the customer feedback more and more about your product and company, so that it will help you to grow your business more and more. This is what we do and what is we represent with our company. So I hope you enjoy our session today. If you want any other point to be discussed, or if you want any other case study to be presented, please let me know so that I can just prepare for you. I can give you some points on that. I can present the presentation for that particular topic also. So